Hello, hello, and welcome to Saturday Soundbites. I'm your host, Veronica V. Sofer, and I have the pleasure of connecting you with some awesome experts in the space of visibility. So, here on Saturday Soundbites, we talk about all things marketing, advertising, public relations, branding, everything you need to be seen and be visible to the audience that you want to connect with. So, as usual, I have a great guest that's going to bring you some insights. But before we bring her on, I want to make sure we take care of some housekeeping. If you are listening on the podcast, make sure you hit subscribe. We don't want you to miss any episodes of Saturday Soundbites. And if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, drop us some comments, and my guest and I will be sure to circle back with you. So, with that, we're going to go ahead and kick off this amazing episode of Saturday Soundbites with my guest, Vassia. Oh gosh, Sara. I just practiced it, Vassia. Say it for me.
Sarantopoulou.
Sara
Saran,
Sarantopoulou. Yes.
yeah.
Okay. This is going to be the entire podcast, us just practicing your name over and over. But the good news is it's memorable. and people will want to connect with you just to practice saying your name. Vassia, thank you so much for joining us. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, if you can understand from my long name, I'm Greek. This is what we do
This
in
is
back
what you
home.
do. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what we do. We create long names. But I'm not a typical Greek because I don't like feta cheese and olives.
Ah,
Maybe you're more Greek than me.
yes. I think I might be a little bit more Greek than you.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a psychologist. I study psychology in Greece, Athens. I continue my studies in Leiden, the Netherlands. And I've built my own practice and my own company here called AntiLoneliness. And I gave that name because people, when they reach out to a psychologist, they stop feeling lonely. They have somebody that they can tend to, they can connect to, and they can feel that they are accepted as they are.
Mhm.
And the last few years, I've been focusing a lot on how mindset is affecting our mental health, and specifically perfectionism, how it impacts our mental health, how it leads to depression, anxiety, burnout, even eating disorders.
Mhm.
So that's why I'm here. We're going to talk about perfectionism.
Yes, I'm so excited we are because I think a lot of times as business owners, we get very caught up on what people think about us, expectations that we've set for ourselves, and we start to realize we're sabotaging ourselves. And so the idea that there is something we can do about it and take steps to make a difference is very exciting. So tell us a little bit about I don't know if it's the curse of perfectionism, but tell us a little bit about how perfectionism can really impact your business.
So first and foremost, I would like to talk a little bit about the misunderstanding about perfectionism.
Mm,
People believe that it's a positive trait.
mhm.
I'm a perfectionist. I'm very good at my work. I'm a perfectionist. I can understand, that perspective of perfectionism, but here we're talking about the toxic side of perfectionism.
Mhm.
It's not about being perfect. Actually, perfectionists are more messy than the non-perfectionists. Uh,
Ooh.
yeah, 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 indeed. Actually, the synonym of perfectionist is procrastinator. Somebody who procrastinates is because
Yes.
they're overwhelmed of the expectations they're setting on themselves, and that's why they deal with perfectionism through procrastination. So
Mhm.
usually these two are synonyms. It's one and the same person.
Very interesting. Oh my goodness. Well, that was the first enlightenment right there because I think we do we put that badge of honor and we go to networking events and we talk to clients and peers and we just talk about how connected we are to the perfectionism of our
Yeah.
business, not
Yeah.
realizing that that's probably not a positive trait.
No, actually, I've interviewed many people outside the people that I'm working with, and all of them they say perfectionism is pressure. I'm
Mhm.
overwhelmed all the time. What I do is never enough. Why is it happening that I'm never satisfied with myself, even though I'm working all the time? Where does this lead? Why am I on this hamster wheel and I'm never ending, this journey? So it's this overwhelming pressure. That's what we're talking about today. We're talking about perfectionism, which is fear of making mistakes,
Mhm.
putting a lot of expectations on this pressure. We're talking about the never ending need to be approved, to be seen. And even though you get a well done or congratulations, the next day you're back to square one and you keep trying as if nothing has been accomplished, as if
Mhm.
you have done nothing so far. And it's exhausting.
Yes. Yes, it has to be. And that I would assert, and tell me how you put this all together with clients that you're working with. How does that impact someone's visibility? We're
Yeah.
always talking about, especially on this podcast, ways to market ourselves, to share information about what we're doing, to really be authentic and vulnerable, and connect with potential clients. How does that perfectionism impact the efforts that we're putting towards our marketing?
Yes, fantastic question. First of all, I said before about the fear of failure, which is fear of not necessarily failing, but even the slightest mistake might
Mm,
seem like a failure.
mhm.
So I hear many times, people that they're running their own business or they're building their own business, that they always say, I am going to start making videos when I'm perfect.
Ah.
I will put out my online course when it's perfect. It's not perfect yet. Wait until everything is, flawless. And that, of course, postpones the launch time, postpones any goal that you have. And it postpones it eternally because again, perfection doesn't exist. You will always find something which is not perfect. You will always find a tiny mistake. So fear of failure, which is one of the main features of perfectionism, leads to us not showing up and doing the work for our clients because we're not perfect yet. And
Mhm.
somebody out there is waiting for us to, as we are exactly right now, to deliver something because, of course, you know something more than your clients, but we are waiting until we're perfect. And that can be, like waiting for until I'm a master video recording, or until I am perfect in my knowledge, until I get another training and another one and another one. So that's one way, being afraid of mistakes. Another way can be when we are comparing ourselves with others. That's
Yeah.
also another feature of perfectionism.
Mhm.
And funnily enough, we always compare ourselves with somebody who is ahead of us. And I remember in one of our calls in the academy that I've built for perfectionists and other people who are looking for answers on their mental health, there was a lady and she said to me once, "But everybody is ahead of me. There's nobody behind me, and I'm the last one." And we were discussing how much perfectionist distorts our idea of the world. We see everybody being better, more
Mhm.
successful, smarter, more confident, more important, you name it, than us. And we are just the last person struggling with making the next step.
Mhm.
So the reality, of course, is that everybody's at a different
Sure.
point in their journey. But when we compare ourselves with others, there are two things that happen. One is we get discouraged because Veronica has done so many things. I will never be like Veronica, or I have to do a million steps until I become like Veronica. So we get discouraged because, of course, of all these overwhelming million steps, or we lose our own brand. I
Mhm.
want to be exactly like Veronica. I'm going to do the same thing like Veronica did. And we're losing our own niche, our own unique style, our own unique personality, which is exactly the reason why our clients are looking for us.
Yes, that's so true. That is absolutely so true. Yes, and
Yeah,
we probably do it subconsciously.
yeah.
I mean, I don't think I had ever thought about it, but as you were talking, some of those things started popping in my mind, and I think maybe in our subconscious, it's probably there, and we just didn't acknowledge it.
Yeah, because I think what we lack, what a perfectionist lacks, is trust in their own self. They lack
Mm,
self-acceptance, and that's why they're
mhm,
struggling so much for external approval.
mhm.
So when I see somebody making, reels on Instagram, and I am like, oh, I want to be like her, oh, I want to be like him. What happens at this time is that I believe that if I become like them, I will have the same success. But the reality is that I will have success if I remain as I am. But in order for me to remain as I am and keep my own style, the only way to happen for that to happen is that I accept myself. I see myself in my own uniqueness and special authenticity that I have.
Yeah, yeah, and we know that from a sales perspective,
Yeah.
authenticity is what will make us financially successful or sell
Mhm.
those products or services. People want the real us.
Exactly.
And the closer you can get to that in your marketing, then the more connected people are going to feel to you. So what are like two tips that people can do right now if this is resonating with them and they're like, wow, I didn't even know this was a problem, but it's a problem for me. What
Yeah.
can someone do right now today to start making a difference?
Well, what I would suggest is that practice setting self boundaries of
Mhm,
enough.
mhm.
It will never be perfect, as we said, because there's no such thing as perfection. Remember the example with the hamster wheel. You will keep running, but you will never reach a destination. So practice saying enough. When you're building a course, it doesn't need to be perfect. Plan a deadline and say, well, in 1 month, it will be enough, as long as, of course, I'm working on that during this month.
Mhm,
Set these days or deadlines of enough. I'm going to be enough by then. Even though it's not perfect, it's okay. I can work on it and update it on the way, of course, but I need to get out. I need to make myself visible even though I'm not perfect.
mhm, mhm.
That's one thing. And the other one is practice self-care. One of the ways that perfectionism impacts our productivity and our visibility is that because of this extra pressure we put on ourselves, we overwork, we overwhelm ourselves, and we never take a break. And we think that wait, only this month and then I can take a break. Oh, wait, only this year and then I will take a break. And of course, this break is again a moving goal, and it never happens, and we crash, we burn
Yes.
out.
Yes. Yes. Oh
So,
my goodness. That's so profound, and it's probably something that you can start working on right now that'll will visibly make a difference in your business.
yes, absolutely,
Mhm,
absolutely. And
mhm.
it can be these simple habits, these simple changes. It might sound like, oh, that's too simple, but it's so fundamental. Like when you take a break during the day in order, to have a proper lunch, not in front of your screen, or to connect with somebody, even though it seems like, oh, these 5 minutes, I need them because I need to work. These 5 minutes will be the break for your brain in order
Yes.
to replenish your energy and go back to the game feeling more motivated. Otherwise, this is a game with a deadline. This is a game that will have an expiry day,
Mhm.
and then you will need another time in order to recover from that.
Mhm. Yes, so, so true. Well, oh my goodness, I'm blown away because I think so many people will see themselves in some of the conversations that we had and then instantly be able to find some value in what they can do. So how can people connect with you? Tell us a little bit about some of the ways you work, some of your programs that you have currently, and if this resonates with any of our listeners, how can they get support as they're trying to improve their visibility and perfectionism is just stopping them?
Yes, exactly. So if somebody's listening and they're not sure whether they're perfectionist or not, I have created a free guide with the 20 features of perfectionism. So it's called How Much of a Perfectionist Are You? They can find it on my website antiloneliness.com, and they can get the free guide. They can read the description of the features. They can score themselves, and then they can find whether they are on the healthy perfectionism or the toxic perfectionist side.
Very good.
Of course, I also put a lot of videos out there in my YouTube channel. They can find my YouTube channel at AntiLoneliness again. A lot of videos on perfectionism, fear of failure, acceptance, boundaries, self-care. They're going to find it there. And of course, if they want to take it one step further, I have created um, a masterclass in perfectionism, and it's called How to Stop Perfectionism and Start Living.
Mm.
Because we want to live while we're growing. We want to experience life and be happy and experience joy while we're growing. We're not going to
Mhm,
give up. We will grow in our business, but
mhm.
we want to enjoy this journey. So there's a masterclass there, and they're going to find it again in my website, antiloneliness.com.
Perfect. And all the show links will be, all the links will be in the show notes. So we will make sure that your YouTube channel's there, your website, and everything else. And it sounds like a wonderful guide for people to get. So, Vassia, thank you so much for your time and your expertise. I know our listeners are going to get so much value from listening to all the great suggestions you have.
Thank you so much for the invitation.
You bet. All right, that wraps up this episode of Saturday Soundbites. As always, you can find me at veronicavsofer.com. And I want you to make sure you hit subscribe on the podcast platform that you're using. We don't want you to miss any episodes. And please connect with Vassia. She's got some fantastic resources for you. It's oftentimes all about your mindset. Your visibility strategies are going to just skyrocket and take off when you've got the right mindset and tools that you need. So make sure you check out Vassia's information. She will definitely bring value to your plan. So with that, I'm going to wrap up this episode of Saturday Soundbites by sending you lots of positive energy and light.